In this video, we're going to go ahead and continue on with what we received from our database by adding another component for stats. So in this, I want to add health, and that's going to be kind of the basics that you would use for any other, persistent variables that you would want to keep that are character specific. So for things like weapons or hunger, thirst, that kind of stuff, this is what you essentially would be doing. So to begin, we're going to go ahead and create a basic health system with our character. So if we open up our character, we want to create a health variable. I'll just do it anywhere. So we're going to have float health. And I want to have a public function called set health. So void set health. And then float health. So set health, all it's going to do is set health to equal health. And I did not think of the naming scheme, so I want to change our parameter to be called new health instead. Now let's head up to our constructor and we're going to give it a default value of 100. So health equals 100 and we are pretty much good to go. We just want to create some basic inputs. Well, a input for attacking, so that way we can, well, not attacking, we can just set it up so we can do this actually in Blueprint where we'll lower our health. So yeah, that's not a bad idea. So we're going to make this actually Blueprint callable. So we're going to do u function Blueprint callable. And that's going to allow us to call set health from Blueprint. So that way we can test it. So this is going to be kind of our quote unquote way of taking damage because we don't have any way of actually taking damage right now. Again, this is only for covering stats. So that's all we really need. So now let's go to our persistence player controller.h and we want to add another property to this. So under player ID or PID for our player data struct, we're going to add another U property and we're going to do float health. And that means we have to alter our data table. So we're going to go to our player data, alter table. We're going to add a new one, call it health, and it's going to be of type float, which right there. And then I want to move it right below player ID. Doesn't really matter the order. I just try to keep everything roughly the same. And then back to IntelliJ. Let me go ahead and stop it from running. And I feel like this zoomed out. What was it? Let me look up what the hotkey was to zoom in and I'll be right back. All right, so it's Control-Shift-A. And it was increase font size. Do it one more time and we'll do one more. And that's going to be, that's relatively close. So we want to have in our entity another variable here. So here we have PID. We want to add another one that's a float. So we're going to do var health of the type float. And we're going to set it by default to equal, we'll do 100. So that's all we really need there. So we now have health, and health that we are able to pass through it. So the reason this is capital H, because when we construct it or using their JSON converter, it automatically will make the H there a lowercase. So anyways, we're good to go here. So I'm going to go ahead and start running that, and I actually have to apply it. No, I already did apply. Now I want to reload our data table. I have just an extra one there. Let me set this health value to, we'll do 90 for the current entry, just for testing. Okay, we are good to go there. Let's go ahead and compile. And I actually have to close down the editor first. Close that, compile, relaunch the project. And once we're back in here, we can go to our character class. So we're going to open up our third person character just to be kind of lazy. And we're going to add a new, my right mouse button's screwing up again. A new action. So we're going to search for left mouse button, and just change the input key to, let's do F. So that way whenever we press F, we're going to take damage. So when we press it, we're just going to call health. And from here, we can pass in the new value. So we want to have a way to kind of, I guess, display this as well. So again, I'm just going to create a simple widget. That way I can visually see it. W underscore health. And all it's going to do is just have some text. I'm going to anchor it to the bottom left. Size 200 by 1. Nah, we'll do 50. Alignment 1. No. Alignment 1 on the Y. We're going to do negative 0.5. Let's do 1.5. So this is going to be where our health gets displayed. So we're going to change this to TB underscore health. Set it as a variable. So that way, every time we're just going to do it on tick, we're going to get and set our health to this text block there. So on tick, stupid mouse. Come on. There we go. Oh, dang it. Playing Tarkov last night and I kept dying because I could not keep aiming. There we go. That's getting really annoying. So now we want to get our character. So we're going to do get player character. Just index 0 because that's ourselves. And we are locally controlling, or sorry, we're the only ones that own this widget. So we're always going to get ourselves this way. Now we just want to cast it to the third person character. And from here we need to get our health. But I made a mistake and I forgot to, we can create a function called get health, which will get it, or we can just make this blueprint accessible. In my case, I'm just going to create another blueprint callable function called float get health, and it's just going to return health. And because nothing's happening, why not make it a constant? So we have that set up. We can even force in, it doesn't matter. Trying to keep it short. So I'm going to go ahead and compile and see what the odds are that I can actually access it without restarting the editor. Hey, it worked. Kinda. Not quite. Gonna restart. And now it should hopefully appear properly. Alrighty. Get health. No, it's still doing the same way. Oh well. So from here we just want to set the text. So we're going to go ahead and get our text block. Set text. And we simply convert it from a float to a text. So now let's check it out. Alright, for starters, we have to add the widget to our viewport. So I'm going to be lazy and do that on the level. So open the blueprints, level blueprint, and on event begin play, we create widget, which is our health widget. We want to get the player controller, set that to be the owning player. After that, we add to viewport, and we are done. So now we should see our health bottom left, which you can see there is 100. So now when I press F, all right, nothing's happening, so we have an issue. Oh, gotcha. That can be ignored. So we press F, targets ourselves, new health, 90. So let's see. Okay, that is currently not firing. I'm going to print a string and just make sure that it actually is triggering. Okay, so it is triggering. So there's an issue possibly with how we are, let's see, set health. Yes, that's why. So new health, so we're doing health equals health. We need to do health equals new health. Then compile, and we should be good to go now. So that was a stupid mistake on my part. Press F, and we went down to 90 for health. So we have our health. So what we can do now to better test it, when we press F, we want to get health. We want to subtract by 5, and that's going to be our new health. So every time we press F, we should be lowering by 5, just like so. So we are good to go there. Now that we have our basic health system kind of dealing in place, we can continue on, and I'm going to move it out of our level blueprint, just because the error is getting very annoying, and move it into our begin play of third-person character, like so, and we should have the exact same result. Normally you wouldn't want to do this, especially if your character ends up dying and respawning a lot, because widgets don't necessarily get destroyed or cleaned up in memory, so you're probably going to have a memory leak that way. Anyways, see, we're going on for 11 minutes, so I'm actually going to stop this video here, but we have our basic health system set up. So we have a function called set health, as well as we have get health, which returns our health, and we have a basic blueprint event that triggers when we press F to decrement our health by 5. So that's going to be used for when we go to save our health, so we can save at different values. So in the next video, we are going to set it up so when we receive our struct from the database, we go ahead and set our health that way. So we will pretty much have persistent health like so. So we should have health 90 when we first spawn. So that's going to do it for this video. If you like what I'm doing and you want to help support me, almost made it through without an interruption. If you like what I'm doing and you want to help support me, feel free to join my Patreon. That's linked in the description below, where I have a Team Deathmatch series just for Patrons only, where we cover Team Deathmatch from the ground up using Unreal Engine with C++, as well as a couple other features such as a weapon customizer, some interesting spawning setups, and all that kind of stuff. And if you have any questions, feel free to join my Discord. That's also linked down below, and I'll see you in the next video.